Hi everyone, welcome to Third Coast Gaming News. Today is July 4th. Happy Independence Day, 4th of July, and just a regular 4th of July for everyone else who's not from America. But maybe set off some fireworks still, I don't know. That's what happens in those Animal Crossing games is they just throw all the holidays in there, even for the countries that don't have them. Hello, I'm joined by Austin Taylor. How's it going? What's
Yep,
up?
I'm
We
here.
are here. And that's as much as I can say as well. This speaking of things that are may or may not be here, this Pokemon thing just kind of dropped today, and I thought this would be fun to talk about. There apparently, who is it? Is it Nintendo wants to make this? This I'm on IGN looking at this. Is Pokemon Wonder is a beautiful new Japanese theme park that celebrates nature. The Pokemon Company has announced that Pokemon Wonder is a 48,000 square foot theme park where you can enjoy nature and maybe have some Pokemon hanging out around you. There's a picture of a Diglett in the ground, and I'm very into this if that's what's going on. Did you get to take a look at any of these pictures? I kind of pulled this up right before we started recording this, but
I took a look at some of it. It's interesting. Like you told me about this, and I was like, oh, another like more Pokemon amusement parks. But this is mostly like a nature sort of like it looks like a nature walk with some Pokemon aesthetics like thrown on it.
yeah, like people are gonna make
Like it,
some it looks like some of these like there's a I think the owl's now name is Rowlet from Pokemon Sun and Moon. He's the owl with a
yeah,
bow tie. Yeah, Rowlet.
yeah, is a little
Yeah,
starter
he's
owl.
just hanging out in a tree, and it looks like it's a wood carving of a Rowlet with like his little bow tie. So if they just have like smaller Pokemon hidden around places, or like have maybe some like a bigger statue of something, like some of these photos, I guess these are like up close photos of just like Pokemon things that are just like in the grass and in like trees and stuff. But if they take this to like a bigger level, I could see that being really cool. Like I would
Well, I
want
mean,
something like this in the
they're not
States. What's up?
they're not going to. This is a limited time
Oh,
thing.
is it?
Yeah, this it closes on the 3rd of April next
Oh,
year.
only a year. Oh man, I thought it was gonna be like an amusement park, yeah, limited time, July 17th to April 3rd. Oh man, it's behind. I can't pronounce this. Yomuri Land, which is in Japan. That's also a beautiful fucking amusement park. I'm just looking at some pictures of this. That could be cool. As a child of the mid '90s, Pokemon very cool. Still, us adults who are way too into Pokemon complaining about Sword and Shield. I I would there's gonna be those YouTube videos coming up of people going through amusement parks, and there's gonna be something like that of this. It could be cool. If I had money, I'd travel to that for that shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I would never be in this mostly because I just look at this. I'm like, oh, this is a tourist trap.
yeah, it's a tourist trap.
There'd be too many people here for this to be nearly as delightful as these photos are making it
Yeah,
look.
yeah, and if it was somewhere very convenient to go to, like if you're just if it was like in San Francisco, if I could see like if that being something popular, I could see them bringing that somewhere else. But sometimes that shit happens where it's just like only in Japan, like some of those Pokemon events, like like the Pokemon stores that they open up and stuff, are like usually only in Japan. I think there's one in New York too.
Yeah,
Can't remember exactly. It's all right. This control stuff came out. Our second big story, or at least in my opinion, is this 505 Games, who were the publisher for Control, are wanting to make a bigger budget Control as well as some multiplayer spin-offs, which two thumbs up for me, my dude.
yeah. I mean, there's no real details about it or anything. It's just currently being called like Project Condor. It seems yeah, that seems like an idea, I guess. I don't know, like I don't we have to look at like the structure of this because I don't think it's going to be like you are for Jesse Faden's. Uh, you're probably all going to be much more limited in like the functionality each player has. There's a bit of like concept artwork that they show in this article that is like said to be like kind of descriptive of what kind of game they're going for, and it's four people in really haphazardly made uniforms sitting on a bench between like two like intake desks as they're like waiting for their numbers to be called so they can probably close on whatever case they're on.
Yeah, there's like a body
It's
bag on the ground.
yeah, there's just a body bag on the ground. There's a trail of blood leading to where the body bag is.
Yeah, and they're talking about being like player versus environment, PvE. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
could
it's a
could be a
co-op.
co-op like hero shooter where they've got abilities, or they just have different loadouts, or could be a little Left 4 Dead-y, could be a little if we're talking like just spitballing ideas that probably won't be it. Could be a loot game. I'm hoping it's like a little Left 4. We're in the year of these Left 4 Dead games coming out, like Back for Blood, and there's that Redfall. I think is that the
Yeah, the
yeah.
arcane,
So I don't know. I mean, as long as it's in the whatchamacallit, the house,
the
the
oldest
oldest
house.
house. Can I levitate and can I pick up objects and throw them at enemies?
I mean, probably not. I don't think we'll like
Oh, because you're not
like
because you're not
assuming like
fading. Yeah, she's the
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
because you're not like Jesse. Like even as far as like other directors go, like Faden's ability to like manifest powers like levitation and throw are an anomaly.
Yeah.
So I imagine this is mostly going to be like you playing as people with like different functions. Like it looks like one of these people's like your standard ranger that you can find and control. You have like a heavily armored person. You have someone who looks like just a big flashlight and like an
Yeah.
SMG, and someone who I'm gonna assume is like support.
Yeah. Well, I because when this was originally announced, I was in my head. I was like thinking about four characters with Jesse Faden's powers running around doing that. So I hope they're not too constrained by like the canon of that character only being able to do the stuff. But that's just me and my hopes because I like the physics of control a lot and the gameplay sphere of that. But I don't know. I'm curious about it. Also, just like a bigger budget control, which that game feels like it's a big budget. I've heard talks about like people talking about control is like it feels big budget, but that's because they're pushing a lot of stuff with that game. So I'm curious what an even like bigger budget control would feel like.
Yeah, like the other thing to know about control is how much of it is like smoke and mirrors. Like if you ever look at a design doc for the ashtray maze, like that is a very small segment of that game.
Yeah.
Both like in like the amount of space it takes up and just like how much time you actually spend in it. It's incredibly small compared to like
Yeah.
every other part of that game.
I don't know what other games development budgets look like, but apparently I pulled up an article. They had about a $30 million budget, which that's pretty reasonable compared to like even comparing it to like movie budgets and stuff, which are like between 100 million to 200 million. So I mean, they did a lot with that fucking game. Like
Yeah,
it feels like a bigger budget, which I'm kind of surprised by.
yeah, yeah, and that's kind of like the trick there is like they even like came out and said when that game like first came out, they're like, yeah, well, it's a smaller budget game. Like 30 million is not a whole lot. Shenmue is like 50 to 70 million.
Yeah.
The first one,
Oh, the first one? Oh,
yeah, the first
interesting.
one.
I'm trying to look up the budget of Quantum Break. I don't know. Someone's saying 20 or 50 million. I have no idea. Oh, Quantum Break had a long development cycle, apparently. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think that's cool. I love Control. playing that game, it just because it's like kind of it's not an open world, but you have this open area that you're exploring, like a Metroidvania, and it just feels like they're taking a lot out of that, and that game just continues. I should go back and play some of that too. I want to beat that game.
You don't really have to. It's not that interesting.
Well, for me, we have differing like. I dig a lot into like the gameplay and like the atmosphere of that shit, and I think that would make me want to complete it.
I mean, I think like like that stuff could be interesting in Quantum Break if it wasn't constantly
Oh,
interrupted by like 15-minute long
sorry,
episodes of the Quantum Break TV show.
I didn't
that
mean Quantum
never
Break. I meant Control. I should
lifted.
go finish Control.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
I
no,
need to
go
go
fucking play
finish
Control.
Control because I got it for the Series
Go
S,
do
and then something else came along, and I just haven't beaten it.
Go fucking do Control. Like that game slaps.
Yes. Speaking of things that slap, in my opinion, it's cool that Riot is putting out like lo-fi music that creators, and I'm guessing mostly like Twitch streamers, can use to stream to in the background that aren't like, whatchamacallit, not going to get your Twitch shut down, which like, because a lot of people who used to stream would have like, chill music in the background, just kind of like give something else going on when like the streamer isn't like talking the whole time or like the game dialogues. I think that's like a cool pool, and it's like 37 lo-fi adjacent tracks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is, a band-aid on like the absolute hell that like dealing with music licensing is. Um, but yeah, it's like this is the half measures that like companies are taking, from like Cyberpunk's streaming mode, right, where it eliminates potentially copyrighted music from its game. And this
Yeah.
is just providing something for like an actual tool for you to use as opposed to just like creating an absence of music and
Yeah,
noise.
so I just thought it was cool that Riot, I know it's like Riot makes a lot of fucking money, and that's like, I mean, it's kind of cool and it's not kind of cool, but it's just like, I just thought it was interesting. I know it wouldn't take a lot for them to do something like that, but I don't know. I think it's a neat gesture. I don't know whoever thought of that. Good on you. More stuff coming about this Dead Space thing. It sounds like it's a remake by Motive. I guess Jeff
Hmm.
Grubb, known industry insider, kind of got to talking to some more of his contacts, and it sounds like it's coming from the Star Wars Battlefront 2 co-developer and Star Wars Squadron people. So I don't know. Remake of Dead Space could be interesting. They were talking about a lot about like the Resident Evil 2 remake and what Capcom's doing with that. Not too high hopes. It's not the studio I want to make this, which is no longer a studio.
Yeah, which doesn't exist
No.
anymore because EA decided they would rather close that studio and like again, game development takes a long time. Was that studio even gone for a year before they decided they wanted to make a remake of Dead Space?
I don't know. EA is fucking crazy, dude. I you hear a lot about people don't buy EA games, and that's why, because they fucking shutter studios so fast and shit. Let's see. Yeah, Dead Space 3 was 2013, and I think Hardline was probably 2016 or something. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited because I really like Dead Space, but I really don't like EA. It's a hard place to sit between. Same as like Battlefront. I those are really cool games, but EA is fucking crazy. Same as Apex.
I I mean, we don't have to act like we're wringing our hands about like, oh, how terrible it is. I have to buy this game from this company. Like motherfucker, like big game development is fucking compromised, my guy. Like we were just talking about Far Cry from
It's
Ubisoft.
true. Ubisoft sucks too, but good games are good games sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm could be cool. Curious what it looks like. Curious what a Dead Space remake is. You know, but also it's a Dead Space remake. Like, what can you do, my dude?
I I mean, make it bloodier, I guess. Like make more bits come off of the
Yeah,
necromorphs when you
4K
kill them.
necromorphs, and I don't know, maybe they'll just throw like a little multiplayer thing on the side. That feels like an EA thing to do. Like the Left 4 Dead multiplayer mode. Other news. This is a little cooler. Is Sony bought Housemarque, the Returnal studio. I think that's a good
Oh,
pickup. That was kind of coming out on, was that like June 29th? I want to play Returnal. I wouldn't pay $70 for Returnal, but I want to play Returnal really bad.
I mean, I personally can't wait until we're getting headlines about Housemarque complaining about feeling like a Naughty Dog support studio.
Oh, yeah.
Um, like I don't know, this news would be exciting to me if I felt like Sony was interested in making like particularly interesting games.
Yeah, I'm curious if Housemarque will keep on the path of like what they're still interested in. Sometimes Sony is like, we want you to make something closer to this. Sometimes they're just like, yeah, go make your thing. Some studios like, Insomniac's doing Spider-Man, so that gave them leeway to mess around with Ratchet. But I feel like looking at that game, that game looked like it has been in development before Spider-Man came out. I don't know. Maybe at the same time, around the same time.
Yeah, but I mean like even like Ratchet's not like the thing about Ratchet that like makes it seem particularly different from like Sony's other action adventure games is that like this time you play as an animal, right? Like functionally like these games are all like action adventure games. Like they're all high budget like action adventure games. Like that's what Sony is interested in pushing out. Like it's in the DNA of everything from like Returnal to God of War.
I mean, we're at the point of games where like that's what a lot of people want and that's what like a lot of people buy. It sucks for like people who do want something different, which you kind of have to go a little away from Sony to get that stuff. Some of that stuff does come to console, some of it's in the new space. I would like weirder, bigger budget games, but sometimes that's just like not in the business of taking risks and shit, which come up a lot with Sony where they just want to put out stuff they know will sell. Although, but on this,
Yeah, that's their
yeah, that's
priority.
their priority. Where on the flip side of that, I know like Asobi Studio got to make fucking Astrobot, and I think that is really wild. Even though I know in Sony's head, it's like, yeah, that is a game we can let other studios see on how to put like this kind of stuff in their game, like a
Yeah, like
showcase.
it's the launch app that uses all the features of like the console and controller features that like most people probably aren't going to use.
Yeah,
Um, and somehow it is like and because like that game is so well made, because it's made by like a really talented and like hardworking like group of people, and not to imply that like other people, other developers aren't, talented and hardworking, but like people who understand the console's infrastructure in the way they do, like it's an it's a charming enough thing.
yeah, and like that is something that surprises me that Sony had them put through. But I mean, they made the Astrobot VR. They proved that like people picked up Astrobot VR. It is also a third person action game platformer thing that is kind of in their wheelhouse, like much of their other stuff is. Sony still surprised me with some stuff, but you're right. Most stuff that Sony has comes out isn't surprising. Kind of fits that niche that is put. Like I am more interested. I was more interested in God of War when it was like God of War 1, 2, and 3. Whereas like the new one's like, oh, it's a little more cinematic. It's a little more pulled back. I thought the combat was fine. I didn't end up beating it, but I have such a passion for those original ones, and they are like you're saying going into like even Uncharted. It's like these movie experiences. Whereas I want like what I think of like the PS2 Sony exclusives, which are like when they're making the platformer stuff that we've only kind of seen come back with like Ratchet and Clank or it's not Sony, but those Activision platformers that they have, the Spyro and the Crashes, where those are having their resurgence too. I think it'd be
Yeah.
cool if Sony got back into those. But yeah, what I hope they do
I
some. I hope the PS5 is selling well enough where they can take some risks and get some studios to make weird stuff and not fucking Uncharted support studio shit like you're talking about, or Naughty Dog. Yeah.
we'll see. I don't have much faith in like a change in direction as long as like this is still what's making the money because it will. Um, like Sony could have been at the front of like a new sort of way of how we think about action platformers with like Gravity Rush, but that those people aren't there anymore.
No, and if we like continue this and thinking about like these big consoles, if we think about the three and what they're doing, Sony's doing their single player action adventure third person games. Microsoft's doing Game Pass and getting studios like the mix up of Microsoft stuff that's kind of come out is more diverse. And then you have Nintendo, like Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey are fucking bangers. Like in how different they are from like, it's still a Mario game, but I think it's like more interesting to me than like Uncharted 4 was, if we talk about it like that. Like Uncharted 4 is a beautiful game, plays very well, but Mario Odyssey is fucking weird. And Breath of the Wild is like this weird nostalgic pull of like the first blueprint for the first Zelda game into like kind of a weird Skyrim, like more open Zelda game.
Yeah.
So yeah, the studio that Sony making the most money is sucks that they're kind of doing. It's not more boring, but we get a couple things. Like I thought, Bluepoint doing Demon Souls and Shadow of the Colossus, like that's pretty cool. Those are nostalgia hits too, but they're a little weirder. But those are popular games. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like they're just like two like hits that like I think we could definitely consider outliers, that are trying to work at like very specific like games that like they're probably like we're never gonna see another game like a Shadow of the Colossus and like with you know I doubt Sony like had any real interest in letting anyone like internally work on something like Demon Souls.
Yeah, and it's even more so like I'm guessing remaking a game is in my mind probably much cheaper than like a ground up Shadow of the Colossus or Demon Souls, where it's cheaper to you remake these games, they look really good, they sell pretty well, and because they have like the fan base already to them. Like you saying that we're not going to get a Shadow of the Colossus like bummed me out so much. Man, if Last Guardian hadn't just taken so long for them to put out, maybe we would have seen like what is that, the fourth Team Ico game in that series?
That was the third.
Well, I mean, if it hadn't taken as long, maybe they would have made another one.
Maybe Team
Yeah,
Ico would
maybe
still
they'd
be
still
a
be a
thing.
thing because that really. I love Team.
Yeah.
Those are three of the most weirdest and like very imaginative and different games. I mean, Last Guardian. It feels like a PS3 game because it is a PS3 game.
And I mean, yeah, and who knows what Ueda's doing right now is the thing. Like, but I don't think they're
Oh,
gonna.
from
Considering that,
I think he has a new studio.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. It's just like, what are they working on now? It's like they haven't
Oh
actually
yeah.
said. And I don't think Ueda's someone who's particularly interested in like making another Shadow of the Colossus,
No.
like game.
But something something that hits. Anyway, doesn't matter. I know what you mean. Yeah. Anyway, how replay Ico too. Ico's. Have you ever played Ico?
Only a bit. Never to completion.
It's tough. I watched it with like a YouTube guide, because I wanted to experience it without being frustrated.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
Doom Eternal getting a Horde mode. I wonder if this is going to be a free mode. They're kind of saying they'll talk about it more at QuakeCon. I could be into that. They're dropping the invasion mode, which was like you being a demon that can go into people's campaigns, which was kind of put off because of COVID, so they delayed that mode coming out. And I guess that's what they're going to do instead. That could be cool.
Yeah, yeah. I doubt they're gonna put like they're gonna charge for horde mode. If they weren't gonna charge for invasion, I doubt they're gonna charge you for horde mode. If they did, that would be very, very bad. I mean, like PR wise, be very
Yeah,
bad.
and I would love. I was thinking about this because I was on the PSN store and I saw like a Doom Eternal thing that was free, but I think it was just you downloading a DLC, and it made me think, well, if they put out this Horde mode separately and made it free, that'd be a move, because like the shooting in Doom Eternal is real good, and if it was free, you could have there's your player base, go for it. That'd be interesting. I don't know. I'd fuck around with that.
I mean, yeah, we'll see like what it actually is at QuakeCon. This is probably going to be like a multiplayer thing. I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Like where you have like multiple Doom Slayers, um, which I don't know. I think that's the only way I could get in there. I don't know if I'd ever want to play a Doom Eternal like solo horde mode.
Yeah, I'm guessing it'll be a multiplayer thing. Let's see. Apex Legends got hacked.
Oh no, wait, hold real quick before
What's
we
up?
move on. We've decided to redirect our focus from invasion mode to creating a totally new single player horde
Oh,
mode.
it's single player.
Um,
Weird. Hmm.
yeah, it is a single player.
Okay.
Yep, I'm not touching
I
that
don't
at
care.
all.
Sorry. Sorry. I'll watch some people play it. I probably won't do it myself. Oh, man. Apparently, Apex Legends got hacked. You pulled this up. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, yeah. So it was hacked by someone who is very upset at the current state of Titanfall 1. Uh,
And,
which is like in its current form, I mean, pretty unplayable. Both in like since it's very hard to find any match to play, and is also like the matches you do find are like rife with hackers. So in response to that, this person, in response to like that the status of Titanfall and the fact that Respawn hasn't been able to Respawn EA have not been able to fix this problem. This person, I believe an individual, has hacked uh, Apex Legends, and like most playlists now just say savetitanfall.com
which,
and direct you to a website
yeah.
like called
Which I'm
savetitanfall.com.
on this website. Very interesting. But, yes, the last 2 days sounds like this has been going on. There's a parts of this webpage called helpful links. There's like a YouTube video about the tragedy of Titanfall, community ignored, and then some articles about like that kind of stuff going on, like it being utterly broken still on Steam, which not the way to do it. But I guess if you're gonna get someone's attention, is you hit the game that they make money off of, so you put it on the
I
hook,
mean,
as you say.
yeah, like I'm not gonna like pass judgment on on the hackers involved here. Like this isn't something I would do, but I also don't have the aptitude to like hack something like this. Um, it is just like the abandonment of Titanfall is just a product of it not being particularly profitable for like them to stick with and continuously fix this game as these new issues arise. And they've talked about like their struggles with fixing these issues before. The folks at Respawn. It's not like they're unaware of this. It's just a very complicated like mess to sort out.
Yeah, apparently even Titanfall 2 has some
Yeah,
stuff with
Titanfall 2 is
hackers
also
going
like
on. Is this just the
yeah.
PC version of Titanfall 2?
Um,
I don't know.
I mean, I
Anyway,
haven't played like the Xbox version of Titanfall 2.
yeah.
I haven't tried out the PS4 version, and
Yeah,
like
the
from what
last
I've
time I
played of the PC version, it's okay, but I haven't played it in a bit.
Yeah, and the last time I played the PS4 version, it seemed fine. But that's what happens. A company moves on from a game, and they don't have to support it. They put the product out, it hits or it doesn't, and then I'm not going to support these like this kind of malicious attack, but I'm also not going to say it's like I do enjoy Titanfall. The Titanfall fan base is very like there because those games are really good. But at the same time, Apex is doing really well for them, and it came out like at a really good time. I don't have as much fun with Apex, but like I don't know, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing here is, it's just like Titanfall. Like Titanfall is a game that's still being sold. Like this is not a invalid complaint from this person. Is that Titanfall 1 is a multiplayer only game where you cannot play multiplayer, and it is currently being sold.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of that happens with games that are fucked. Who was talking about it? Jeff Gersman on Giant Bomb was talking about how you can buy Black Ops like Call of Duty 3 on the
Yeah,
like a Series X and Series S, and it still runs the multiplayer, and that is fucked with like hackers too. And it's just like, yeah, pull these games, don't sell these. Like Titanfall 2 at least has a single player and some of the horde mode stuff. But
yeah,
like if your game's fucked, don't sell it anymore. Those eShops are so easy to buy shit from that. It's like, oh yeah, I like Apex. I should go buy Titanfall, which is like a thing that happened when
yeah,
Apex came out and got really big. As people went back and picked up those other games.
yeah. And like and like online shooters have had like problems with hackers for a long time. This is not like a particularly new thing. Like I remember playing the first Modern Warfare when like Modern Warfare 3 was coming out, and like going to play that multiplayer because I like the way that game played a lot more than like the other two. And just like, wow, I didn't know you could hack a console like that, you know? Um I mean, it was a really interesting environment to be in because like they had also seemingly hacked in like a group chat into the Xbox 360 version of Modern Warfare. It was a really wild time.
It's
But that
pretty
was at the
wild.
very least like fun. Um, like people hacked like Modern Warfare 1 so that way you could get XP really quickly. I remember I was invited into a lobby with someone I was playing Modern Warfare with, and like the whole thing that happened there is like every kill was worth like, like 30 times the amount of XP you'd usually get. So you were able to get to like the highest rank of Modern Warfare very quickly. But that's not what happened. That's not what's happening in Titanfall. These are like a lot of DDoS attacks that just like keep people from entering into games. So it's just like it's a much more complicated thing to like fix.
Yeah, and
But
it
like it is no
sucks.
less like it's still a huge problem, especially again if you are still selling your multiplayer only title.
Like it sucks that they did this, but yeah, it brings to light. It's going to be a headline. It's going to get picked up. People who are trying to play this are going to see it. Maybe EA will do something about it. Maybe they won't. Wish it would have gone another way, but they're really passionate about it and they want people to know about it. I got this other thing. Is Ghost of Tsushima is getting their director's cut, which kind
Oh my
of people
god.
were thinking it was going to be like a standalone thing. There was rumors of like this extra island, this island of Iki was going to be like a maybe what's that Uncharted spinoff that's after 4 that's
Lost
like
Legacy.
maybe it's gonna be a Lost Legacy type of thing, but it looks like it's a PS5 and PS4 version that
Well, it's an expansion.
yeah.
So there's an expansion DLC coming out, and alongside it is this director's cut version of Ghost of Tsushima, which is like specifically for like the PS4. I mean
The
not PS4,
PS5,
but
yeah.
PS5 numbers. Um,
And it's
like there's also director's cut is also like an upgrade you can get onto the PS4. It's just not going to have like the features that are PS5 specific.
yeah, yeah. And then some of the stuff I guess they were talking about was the Japanese audio would line up more with the lip mocapping. So they
Yeah,
kind of went back and if you're on Japanese audio, it would do that. But that's cool. There's a couple different price packs for this, which I thought was a weird decision. I wouldn't know what the other decision would be. I would have to sit there and think about it, but I guess
I
it's
mean, the decision like would be to offer like PS5 features up as free upgrades and then have this expansion be something that people can buy on the PS5 or PS4. It would not be
Yeah.
to gate your performance upgrades behind an extra $30 paywall.
Yeah. So like the way that this is going, I see this as like they're releasing a PS5 version of this, which is the whole thing for, is it $30 or $60? I thought they were saying
Um,
they were going to pay if you don't own this game.
if you don't already own this game, so like Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut will launch on its own for $70 on the PS5 and $60 on the PS4.
Yeah, so that part makes sense. It's like, it's the Game of the Year edition. You're putting it out. A lot of companies do that. If you already own it on PS4, it's $20, which I guess you get the Iki Island.
Yeah, you get the expansion.
Yep. If you got the PS4 Director's Cut and you want to upgrade to the PS5 version, it's extra $10.
Yeah, so that's where this is fun.
That's the weird part is like it's that $70 thing. Is if you
Yeah,
want
like
this PS5 version, it's $30 instead of 20. Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, it's this is like I mean a like sort of avoid like taking off of price for a second, like director's cut, like what the fuck does that even mean for a video game? It doesn't mean anything. Stop trying to stop trying to take like the language of movies because you want to be a movie so bad and applying it to your game without understanding why we call these things director's cuts.
Yeah,
Um
bad title. So yeah, $30 you get the Island of Iki. Don't know how big that's gonna be, and it's gonna have the 4K 60 frames. There was
targeting
already
60 frames.
yeah. Wait, say it again.
It's targeting 60
Targeting
frames.
60. Yes, targeting. I see that. Although there was like, if you ran the PS4 version on the PS5, there was some like noticeable upgrades that were happening already there. So I'm curious what that actual, what I will say, quote unquote, director's cut PS5 version, what
Well,
those upgrades actually look like compared to just running the PS4 version on the
it's everything
PS5.
that's in the trailer, right? Like
I didn't
the
watch the
haptic
trailer.
feedback. So it's I mean it's a real short trailer, but like and it's also like on the what is it? The third graph of this Verge article we're looking at it basically details that. So the PS5 exclusive features include the haptic feedback on the triggers, the actual lip syncing of the Japanese VO, right, is like a PS5 version exclusive like fix, as well as like audio.
Yeah, and I mostly just meant that when I sorry, I should have reframed it. When I meant the upgrades, I just meant when this comes out and like Digital Foundry has like their breakdown of like how well it runs or like how noticeably like more of a PS5 game than this feels like than like the PS4 version that you can play that feels better on a PS5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're getting this other stuff. Don't know if it's worth $30. I'm sure there are people out there who really like this game who are totally fine with paying that. I can see people having the PS5 wanting something to do who'll go back and play it over again. But it's a weird choice. They should have just kept it at 20. I think we were kind of talking about that. It's
I
weird.
mean, it should just like you sell the expansion, right? Like it should be like, hey, we were able to do this because now we have a PS5 version of this game. You can upgrade to the PS5 version from your PS4 version, and if you want to buy the expansion, that's $20. That is how you should do it.
Yeah.
The fact that Sony is so bad at this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's what they have been calling is the PS5 tax, and it sucks. Hey, this Witcher AR mobile game is coming out July 21st.
Speaking of games about swords,
Yeah, and may or may not be sucking. Oh, okay, I'm watching this trailer and literally it just
it
it's a
doesn't look good.
no. The trailer is just like someone fast forwarding through like an environment, like a real world environment, and there's just like Witcher monsters who are attacking you for like a second each. That's weird.
Yeah,
That's not a
yeah.
trailer.
There's
Oh, here's a gameplay trailer. What's up?
yeah. The actual gameplay trailer is a bit better,
I
but it's
can
not. good.
I can swipe at these monsters while I'm sitting in the
Yeah,
park and people are staring at me while I'm
like yeah,
ogling
like
these.
it looks like you're on your phone waggling a sword at like lower res Witcher 3 assets. Um,
Embark on riveting quests.
yeah, and like running into NPCs who are like, "Help me, Witcher," as if it's a thing people do in The Witcher, you know?
Why is this horse dead on the ground, Witcher?
Like people ask you for help like very
People
begrudgingly
tell you
because you're a
people
Witcher.
tell you to fuck off if you're a Witcher coming
Yeah,
into a tavern,
yeah,
which
half
should
the
be
time it's
I
like
hope that's just a
really.
thing that my dream of this game, which will not happen, is you walk into a bar and they tell you to fuck off because you're the Witcher.
Yeah. Um, and it looks like there's gonna be like a little like Witcher story here because there's like a bit where you're interacting with someone who looks like the character of Lambert, but what if he was like not Lambert and was older and had like a beard? So it looks like you're still gonna be messing with mostly Wolf School Witchers in this. It doesn't seem interesting in any way. The combat looks like it takes too long for this to be enjoyable.
This is either a cash in or someone is laundering money through this. That's the only reasons this got made, Austin. People like The Witcher, and that Witcher show came out, and someone greenlit this, and it looks weird. Is this being made by the same company that's doing Pokemon Go,
By
or
Niantic?
is
I
this
don't think
Niantic or is this
so.
someone else? It's probably someone else. But my friend is really into that Jurassic Park one because he's a big fucking Jurassic Park mark. So I'm sure some people are going to download and
Okay, so this looks like
mess
it's being
around.
developed internally by CD Projekt, because I'm seeing the studio credits here being CD Projekt Red and Spooko, uh, a member of the CD Projekt family,
Well,
is what I'm seeing at the very end of that gameplay trailer at 59 seconds of their
yeah.
1 minute trailer.
Well, CD Projekt Red wants your data about street locations. They're gonna make their own Google app. I don't
Well, I
know.
mean that's
They're
how
gonna
they're gonna,
sell the data. That's where the real money's
once
from.
once they chart enough street locations, they can use that to compile and build their next version of Night City for the sequel of Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, now you're putting the threads together, Austin. There you go.
Yeah,
Now you got your thinking cap on. God damn
yeah, I'm gonna have
it.
My Pepe Silva wall.
Yeah, when's Cyberpunk Go coming out? I'd rather play. I want to shoot gangsters and low rises
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ,
collect
no.
body. I want to level up and get better body ogs and do cyber dances. I have to shut this podcast down because of that. All right, that's it for the week. Well, if you check in and you're listening to this, impressions will be up as well, where we were talking about Stalker and Fallout New Vegas, and then like a little Far Cry and some other shit. All right, till next week. Bon voyage.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.